Imagine this. You wake up, and for the first time, you feel something has changed. Not around you, but within you. You're no longer desperate to prove your worth. You're no longer shrinking yourself to fit into a mold someone else designed. You're no longer performing for love. Why? Because you've started facing something that most people carry, but never confront. A wound, silent, generational. A wound that didn't begin with you, but lives through you. This is the mother wound. And this isn't about blaming your mother. It's about seeing clearly. It's about reclaiming your life from a blueprint written in the dark, before you had the words to name it. By the end of this journey, you won't just understand the wound. You'll have the keys to transform it. This story, it's yours. And now, it begins. Some wounds bleed quietly, not through cuts or bruises, but through the choices we make, the love we chase, the way we look at ourselves in the mirror and feel not quite enough. And sometimes those wounds are inherited, handed down like family heirlooms, stitched into our psyche through unspoken rules, unmet needs, and forgotten grief. Carl Jung called this the interplay of the personal and collective unconscious. It's not just that we look like our parents, we feel like them. We carry their joy, yes, but also their sorrow, their silence, their stories left unfinished. The mother wound is not a single event. It's a pattern, a feeling of being too much and not enough. It's self-doubt, people-pleasing, a chronic ache for approval. It's the quiet panic when someone pulls away, the shame that lingers even after we succeed. You might have grown up in a warm home. You might say, "My mother did her best." And that can still be true. Because this wound isn't about assigning blame. It's about breaking chains. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're living someone else's life? Reacting instead of choosing, playing out the same drama in different costumes? That's not coincidence. That's the script you were handed. But here's the good news. If you're aware of it, you can rewrite it. Healing starts when we separate the actual mother from the internal mother image we've absorbed through culture, religion, and repetition. The image that still whispers in your head. You're too emotional. You need to earn love. Don't outshine me. So how do we begin to heal? Step one is awareness, not judgment, not blame, just observation. Notice the moments you feel rejected, unseen, responsible for everyone else's emotions. Those moments are mirrors. They show you where your inner child is still holding the wound. Ask yourself, what did I learn about love from my mother? What was I never allowed to feel? Whose voice do I hear when I doubt myself? This process can stir grief. But grief is not weakness. It's proof that your heart is still alive, still longing for truth. Jung called the journey of becoming whole individuation. It's not becoming someone else. It's becoming yourself, the self beneath the performance and programming. And a core part of this journey is healing the mother wound. Reclaiming your ability to feel, to rest, to nurture yourself without guilt. And yes, guilt will come, because the inner child often believes truth equals betrayal. That if you see your mother clearly, you're being disloyal. But you're not dishonoring her, you're honoring yourself. And through that, you make space for real love. Not the love you had to earn, but the love that allows truth and tenderness to coexist. Now imagine this. A child stands holding their own broken heart. And for the first time, someone, you, says, it's okay to cry. It's okay to want more. You didn't deserve the silence. That's where freedom begins. Because when pain is not transformed, it is transmitted. Not because we're bad people, but because that's how trauma works. As Dr. Gabor Mate says, it's not the trauma itself, but the absence of an empathetic witness that wounds the child the most. So today, you become the witness to yourself. But there's something even deeper we must talk about: unconscious contracts. Vows made silently as children in the name of survival. I won't be happier than my mother. I'll carry her sadness. I'll earn love by sacrificing myself. These contracts are not your fault, but they are your responsibility to break. Do you ever dim your light so she won't feel left behind? Do you feel guilt when you experience joy? That's the contract speaking. Carl Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. But you're here now, and fate is no longer in control. You are. How do we start releasing these contracts? Through compassionate inquiry. Ask yourself, when did I begin feeling responsible for her emotions? Did I ever believe I had to be the good one to keep peace? Do I carry guilt for wanting a different life? Each answer is a crack in the armor. Each tear is a map back to yourself. One powerful practice: write a letter, not to send, but to speak the unspoken. Write the words your younger self never got to say: the grief, the anger, the longing, the love. And then write this: I release myself from any contract that binds me to your pain. I honor your path, and I now claim my own. This is not betrayal. This is rebirth. And now we arrive at something sacred, reclaiming the inner feminine, the part of you that feels, that trusts, that knows without knowing. If the mother wound taught you to be hyper-independent, hyper-capable, always doing, then healing will feel like surrender, like rest, like softness without shame. Jung called this the anima, the feminine soul within all of us. When it's wounded, we chase validation, we fear intimacy, we confuse control with safety. But when it's healed, we create instead of perform. We love without losing ourselves. Mothering yourself means saying no without guilt, choosing rest over burnout, trusting your emotions even when they're inconvenient. This is how you begin to remember. You were never too much. You were just never fully held. Let's go even deeper. Who are you trying to fix? Because you couldn't fix your mother. Who are you abandoning within yourself to feel useful to others? The mother wound often shows up in romantic relationships, workaholism, or codependency. It looks like saving everyone else while quietly starving inside. You were never meant to be the healer of your parent. You are here to become whole for yourself. Start choosing people who reflect your healing, not your hurt. Start honoring relationships where your soul can exhale. Because you are worthy of ease. Creativity is the soul's rebellion. So many of us silenced our creativity because it wasn't praised, or permitted, or practical. But Jung believed that art, dreams, and imagination were the portals to the unconscious. When you create, not for performance but for expression, you begin to rewire the deepest patterns of your psyche. What have you always wanted to make? Make that. Not for them, for you. Now, the hardest truth. Forgiveness. Not the fluffy kind. Not just move on, but the kind that says, I understand now. I see how your pain became mine, and I refuse to pass it forward. This is true forgiveness. It doesn't erase what happened. It liberates you from carrying it. You don't need a conversation. You need a decision that your soul is worthy of peace. And now, we arrive at the final chapter. Rebirth. Not the poetic kind whispered in self-help books. Not the convenient kind that skips the pain and jumps straight to the glow-up. Number, this rebirth is ancient, sacred, terrifying. It's the moment you step barefoot into the ashes of your old self and choose not to run, not to escape, but to stand and breathe. Let me tell you a story. There once was a woman. Let's call her Lila. Lila was kind, competent, always there for everyone. She was the daughter you could count on, the partner who gave everything, the friend who listened, even when no one asked how she was doing. But Lila was tired. Not the kind of tired you fix with sleep, but the kind that gnaws at the edges of your soul. And she didn't know why. Until one day, she heard something in therapy, in a book, in a whisper from deep within. You're still trying to save your mother. That night she couldn't sleep. Memories began to rise. Quiet ones, blurry ones, not dramatic, just heavy. The way her mother cried behind closed doors, the way love felt like a reward she had to earn, the way joy came with guilt. Lila had built her life around not becoming her mother, but in doing so, she had shaped herself from pain, not from possibility. That realization shattered something, and it also awakened something ancient. The call to individuate. Lila began the work. She journaled, she cried. She wrote the letter she never dared send. I needed you, but you were drowning. I tried to keep you afloat by disappearing. But now I realize, saving you cost me. I forgive you, and I forgive myself. But I can't carry this anymore. She burned the letter, not in anger, but in release. And in that smoke, something inside her shifted. The death of the mask, the performance. Because you're no longer reacting, you're responding. You're no longer surviving, you're choosing. You are no longer your mother's daughter or son in the wound. You are their child in wisdom. You have become sovereign. So I ask you now, who are you without the pain? Now that you've seen the wound not as a curse, but as a portal. So go, reclaim your voice, mother yourself, create, love, speak, rest. Not as the wounded child, but as the healed, whole, awakened soul. The world has enough pain bearers. It needs more light bringers. And your light starts now.